Hello. Right at the beginning of the COVID-19 lockdown in the UK, there were, well, I'm sure all over the world, there was a massive amount of people putting out YouTube videos of B-roll challenge or home filming challenge or macro challenge or still life challenge and all these sorts of things that you can do in your own home. And I get it. It's kind of, YouTube creators have to keep releasing stuff to keep their audiences going, and then smaller YouTube creators have to keep releasing stuff based on the things that they've seen and kind of and it's all part and parcel of creating the community. But the thing is, there was lots of time to do things at home, but I've got a huge backlog of stuff to do from previous shoots, and I haven't got time to do B-roll challenges around the house of me making coffee. I just don't give a damn about it. And as I say, nothing against all the people that have done it. It's, I understand. What I wanted to do was to keep using my skills, to keep making videos. And after all, that's why most of them existed. It's just sort of to keep you fresh in some way. And to some extent, to make you think about things in a different way. But if I want to make a video, if I'm going to go to the trouble of making a video, I want there to be a purpose. And the thing that I'd identified is that those things don't really have a brief. It's just kind of do whatever you want. And then I'll have a look at them and choose a winner. So it's one person giving their opinion as to which is the best for whatever reason that they choose at the time. I wanted to work to a brief because that's the most useful thing that I think you can do, because when you work with a client, there's always something that you're having to do. It's either to meet their expectations, or it's always to meet their expectations, but they want to be represented in a particular way. And that from that comes a brief that you then work to. And without a brief, you're just kind of being a bit random. You're doing stuff for the sake of it. And then I saw on Gardener's World that they were looking for submissions. And it wasn't just people sending stuff in of kind of whatever they're doing in the garden. There was a brief. It was a downloadable brief. And so I got that from their website, and it's a little bit confusing because it says maximum of 3 minutes, but also maximum of 5 minutes. But I went through it and I thought, I can do that. I've done a bit of gardening. I've got a garden. It needs to be attended to. So I've done a 5-minute Gardener's World film, and I've sent it to them. As I sit here at the beginning of May, I've got no idea if they're going to use it. They'll probably snip it up if they do use it, which is fine. That's their editorial right. And so I've done a 5-minute film for Gardener's World in my own garden. You're going to watch that now if you stick around. Hello, my name's Jeff. I live here with my wife Claire in Haywards Heath, West Sussex. We've lived here about 4 years now. And if there's one thing that I've learned, is that 4 years in the life of a garden is nothing at all. What I like about our garden, but what's also its biggest challenge, is that because it encircles the house, there's a number of different temperature and climate areas. For example, south is that way, so east is that way. So the sun rises over there, and in the winter, this part of the house or this part of the garden hardly gets any sun at all. This border out front's just a bit of a mishmash. There's some flowers here that I only know as pinks, and an acer, and then another acer, and a bay, and whatever that thing is. Right on this side of the garden, you really start to get the heat in the morning and through the early part of the afternoon. So there's nothing here now, but this is going to be my tomato bed at some point in a few weeks' time. And then here I've got a blackberry bush. These are very nice,
and it's a very prolific plant, and it's thornless. But you only get about a day in between them being a bit watery and them being incredibly sour, and we hardly ever get it right. Moving on to the main area of the garden, we've got more edibles here. So we've got a mint, a couple of strawberry plants, 2 apples and a pear tree. We've also got this Morris nigra black mulberry bush, which has never flowered and never produced fruit. Just get green buds and that's about it. I'm obviously doing something wrong, but I just don't really know what. But it's not all about food. We've got this camellia and a rhododendron. We've actually got another camellia over there, sort of intertwined with another shrub. Then we've got this rose bush that we had to move. It was kind of trellised to the side of the house, but we had the house re-rendered last year, so it just had to come away, and look, there's bits of the render on it. We also get some tulips, but we didn't plant them. We actually don't know where they came from because they seem to be multiplying each year, but they've gone for this year now. And then we also get some kind of various seed from the bird feeder that the pigeons scatter about when they're trying to steal it all. So we have to pluck those seedlings out when we see them. One job I've got to do is to thin out these tomato shoots. I would rather have fewer strong stems than lots of weak ones, because obviously at some point I'm going to need to transplant these to something bigger. So I'm just going to thin these out. No tool here, just my fingers. And that should give the ones that are still here a fighting chance when I come to repot them. And I've got these dwarf beans to do as well. So let's just take them to the shed. I obviously knew I was going to have to do this job, but I got caught on the wrong side of lockdown, and I really don't have much compost left. So I'm just going to do my best and pick what I think are the very best of these dwarf beans. Just need to be a little bit careful here because the council has suspended the green bin collection system at the moment, so quite a lot of this is going to end up being meadowland just because I don't have enough space to put all the grass clippings, so I don't want these to disappear into the undergrowth. Just in the final third of the day, the sun comes down here. It's this little sun trap area. I used to have a shed here which looked dilapidated when I took it down, but it took a lot of effort to remove it. But now it's my hammock area. So as you can see, I'm very busy. You'll have to leave me to it now.
So there you go. I realised as soon as I edited it that the first bit sounds a little bit like I'm taking the piss out of their presenters, because I say hello in exactly the same way that Monty Don says hello. I honestly didn't mean that. It's just the way it came out. In fact, I was trying to be a bit quiet as I was walking around the house talking to myself. But let me know what you think in the comments. Not necessarily will they show it, won't they show it, because there's all sorts of editorial reasons for that. But what do you think? Does it fit the brief? So I'll put the brief back up again. Is that the sort of thing that you want to try? They're still taking submissions, by the way, because they're going to be most of this run of Gardeners World. They're going to be in people are going to be in lockdown, so they're going to need content to fill their program. That's what it's about. So you could do it as well. The brief is still available. I'll put the links in the description below, and I'll put all the kit that I used. It kind of wasn't that complicated. It was just a GH5 and a microphone, basically. I'll put all that stuff below. But let me know what you think in the comments. Do I have a future as a gardening presenter? No. And I'll see you soon for another video.